Alright, we're back in on the little ukulele, and just peel that piece of tape off, get rid of the clamps. Alright, so now you can see where I scraped glue onto my little block here, but it was just a remnant. And a little bit of glue here, which is pretty much popping right off of the finish on this thing. Same thing that way. Okay, so let's get these out of here. So I've got this little string spacing roll. Happens to be a StuMac thing, but I think they're just rebranded. Actually, I use this all the time for things that I need radiuses on. You know, I just can spring it, and it, you know, it's not a big deal. Yeah, so it's got a little bit of a natural curve to it. Actually fits the back of this little guy just perfectly. So I'm just going to take the thickness of this. What is it? This is 15,000. Oh, spitting all over stuff. 15 thousandths thick. Now, what did I do with the? There's a razor blade right there. So I'm just going to hold it right up there. You know, I can just tape it down because I gotta get my fingers out of the way. Otherwise, I have to have the blade at too steep an angle. Anyway, and then of course this little strip of wood is not on here straight. I mean, it's bent. So, all right. I'm not trying to go all the way through here. Okay. I will, however, turn that around and show you that not sure how well you can see that. Anyway, this is obviously gapped away here. So I'll just have to be careful that I'm not down against the top. I want to leave enough that I have to scrape it down. I don't want it to be accidentally under, you know, under the surface. Well, wow. Maybe I need a sharper blade. This seems like it's taking a while. Oh, there we go. Sounds like it's about ready to give. There we go. Let's pull this that way. By putting this hot water on it, so we'll see. I mainly just want to get any glue residue off of here without loosening up the repair. pretty good. I had a little bit right in the corner there, but we'll work that out. All right, so let's have a really good up close. If I can make sure you can see that. Yeah, so there it is. You can see the, oh, went the wrong way. You can see the little tiny point on the end there that's not quite filled. That will be filled with finish or something, or more hide glue. I obviously have this other repair to do here still, so I'll have an opportunity to poke a little glue in there. I'm going to scrape this down, so I'm just going to get a razor blade out. So I'm going to put some masking tape on the edge here, over the cutting edge. You do the same thing when I'm leveling drop fills, or if I had done this with super glue and it was proud of the crack, I would do that. So, and when it gets close, because these are about 5/1000 thick, when it gets close I can actually change, I can just take and dull the blade and radius it up out of my way. But it's got quite a bit to go here on this thing, so let's just, it might not take long though, it's fairly aggressive. Okay, yeah, so scraped it flush and sanded it, and then touched it up with just put some naphtha on there to see what the color match was like, and it wasn't dark enough. So I used brown leather dye, and that darkened it up, but it was still a little too light. And I don't know if you know this trick or not, but if you use amber shellac, it kind of adds age. So that's where I'm at right now, and let's see, I'll get it up there closer. There you go. So the edges look a little dark, but the actual strip looks pretty much right on. So I'm just going to use regular shellac on it now. Just do a few coats. So just do a quick dry pass to lock that amber in, and then I'll just hit it with several more. Also have right here, I glued this crack, and there is a separation on the side here, and I glued that, hot hide glue also, same. And I did a couple fills with that and just wiped it off while it was still soft. So I've let it dry overnight, and I've just got my water heated up, and I'm going to hopefully be able to get this off the surface without removing it from the crack. And it was just such a small crack, I hated to try to put a strip in there. I thought I would create more, something more obvious by doing that. So here we go. Just got some hot water and burning myself. And I think yep, that's taking it down. Don't want to get it soft again to where it pulls it out of the crack, but I want to make sure that I get it leveled out. That feels like I've got everything off the surface. So anyway, there's a good demonstration for you about how hot glue cleans up even after the fact. So if you're doing a neck reset and you get a little squeeze out around the heel or something, well, you know that it will come off with some hot water. All right, that looks really good. Well, my monitor shut off. I don't know why. Hopefully I'm still on here. Yeah, it was still going. Good deal. All right, so that's the crack with the glue wiped off the surface of the mandolin, of the ukulele. Okay, I also clamped and water thin CA'd down in this crack that was loose. Clamped that together and glued it. So, all right. Just going to take a quick, turn the hot water off, take a quick dab with some shellac here, and I got to go to rehearsal, so I'm kind of rushing through. All I'm going to do right now is one pass right here, and like I said, try to lock in that amber. Without dragging it off. So I'm going to let that was it. I hope you saw it. I wasn't looking at the camera when I did it. I'm just going to let that dry and then do that again and then start broadening the strokes out here. May experiment a little bit. I could do the whole back again without a lot of problem. This wasn't exactly a French polish. I think it was probably just a brushed on shellac finish. All right, that's it for now, guys. Take care. All right, here's just the last little follow-up on the ukulele. I did file the fret ends. They were, even though it's not a player, the neck is twisted. These frets were going to draw blood if anybody picked it up and messed with it. So, and the tuners will not hold a tune, and I think they're just worn out over all the years. The main event here, the two main events, I'm trying not to have the glare happen here, but and it's not real clear. Let me see if I can just get up here. It kind of looks like dark grain rather than even a splice. You can see a little lighter center line going through. That's the actual splice. So, and then down or up, whatever it is orientation-wise, there was that separation that I just clamped as tight as I could and glued it. And there's still a little bit of a crevice there. It's pretty much flush with the top, but it's a little, just slightly down. Then I think I mentioned this before, I was shellacking it, trying just to blend that in. It was a little light even after I used the brown wood, brown leather dye. And I put a little amber shellac on there, and that actually blended it in a little better. I think this darker line on the outside is actually where I sanded through the finish of the original finish, and then when I stained that other piece of wood, it also stained the side wood. So as careful as I was trying to be, I think I just got a little too wide with that, and that's what that darker line is about. Came in with a couple gaping holes, and is repaired and nice and tight. Also repaired the top. Right here, there was a separation from the binding, so it clamped and glued that. The other thing I wanted to note here was that after I did the amber shellac, I actually recoated the entire back, just not really French polishing, just dragging a rag with, shellac on it. Did that several times. I'd do one little coat and let it set overnight, do another couple coats and let that set. And then the last day, I just did gave it several, good passes. I actually made up a little, I might have filmed it, I don't know. I made up a little rubber, they call them, for French polishing. But I didn't polish per se, I just drug it across. Kind of went in on one end and then in the middle out the other way. That was a little rough, so pretty much sanded with 400, 600, 800, and then I still wooled the triple aught brass wool or bronze wool, as it's called. This stuff. It's a mess just like steel wool, but it doesn't rust. And it's not magnetic, so if you're working on something that has pickups, I try not to use steel wool, but I just thought that the patina I was shooting for, that would have been the best bet. Then I actually used my fretboard conditioner, which is just thinned out linseed oil, about 50-50 linseed oil and paint thinner. And I just kind of went over the whole thing, front and back, with that, and just freshened it up. And same thing on the back. So it's done. It's going away. It's not holding a tune. I tried. And I also looked up some ukulele chords I've never played. And again, the same complaint I have with the mandolin is that it's too little. I don't know. Someday I'm going to build a mandolin with a regular size guitar neck on it, just with a really short scale, so I can actually, I don't know. It might just be how close the frets are together that the problem is, not the narrowness of the neck. Anyway, that's it. 1920s Hawaiian KOA ukulele. Probably handmade. There's some indications that would cause me to believe that. I'm not knocking it though. It's a pretty decent little uke. Sorry. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.